This is Gerardo Del Real for the Outsider Club. Joining me today is the President and CEO of K2 Gold, Mr. Stephen Swatton. Steve, how are you?
Fine, thanks. And yourself?
I'm well, busy as you can imagine. We're clearly in a gold bull market, and frankly, the market is starting to look ahead a little bit. It's been quite some time since we had that type of market, and that brings me to K2, and I want to thank you for taking time today because I know it was on short notice. The stock's been up pretty significantly recently, but given the context of the Mojave property and the numbers that you're getting, and we'll talk about that soon, you know, there's companies, frankly, with projects with market caps in the hundreds of millions of dollars that don't have what it appears you have. K2 Gold's market cap currently is still sub 25 million Canadian. I want to talk about the latest release. You had some high-grade samples from a new target, and it now looks like you've identified 12 gold and base metal targets. Can we go over the latest results, and then let's talk about what drilling looks like moving forward?
Sure. There's quite a few topics you touched on there, so I'll try and go through them one by one. The first one, under valuation, it's kind of interesting. I mean, as your listeners have been witness to, we've had to be a little bit careful and a little bit conservative about the way that we report K2, simply because we're going into a pre-drilling situation with the Bureau of Land Management. And therefore, we couldn't say all the things that we really wanted to say because it would be too forward-looking statements. But what we have happening now with regard to the resource that we know on the ground, I'll just explain to you what has happened since last we spoke. So we're now allowed to announce that we do have the right to drill. We are just discussing with the BLM the cost of the bond that we're going to put up for the limited amount of exploration that we're going to do. We've applied to drill at 4 locations and 4 sites per location, so 16 holes. And based on what we know from the Newmont and the BHP drilling, we've had 2 resource modeling groups look at the limited amount of data that we have and say, is it holding together as far as you're concerned? And then we went back and had a look at the additional data that we had from Worldview and the rock sampling that we had. And definitely we have a much stronger control as to this aspect and the way that the mineralization hangs together. We then fed that into the modeling resource model. And clearly we have just as good, if not better, than other similar types of situation, both in Arizona, other parts of California. And I've got a chart in front of me, which unfortunately is something I couldn't put out, but I can tell you without a shadow of a doubt that we are undervalued compared to core mining, compared to what the Sterling Gold with Kerr acquired, with Corvus as well. One could argue that the resource figures that we have stand shoulder to shoulder with other types of resource in the general Walker Lane trend. And not only that, with the Worldview interpretation that we've done and the geology, which we're having a lot better handle on now, it seems to me that we may well have a base metal aspect to this. And we haven't been shy about saying that BHP had a look in the past and saw that there was some porphyry copper potential. It may well be that we have porphyry copper, base metals, and a gold situation all within the 6,000 hectare property that we have now. So it's pretty exciting, and we're just ready to push the button and start drilling.
Excellent. Let's talk about the most recent sample numbers. I mean, you had rock samples up to 3.28 grams per ton gold, 909 grams per ton silver, 3.9% copper. At Soda Ridge, you had significant, I think the release outlines a 600 meter by 700 meter open gold in soil anomaly. Can you speak about the amount of targets and how you're going to prioritize those?
Yeah, good question. So what we did was we concentrated on the eastern side because most of the work and previously had been done there, but we didn't want to sort of at the expense of not understanding how it all fits together, we went and sent the geologists to the western side whilst we were also receiving the results from the eastern side. And it's certainly becoming evident that the mineralization on the western side should not be underestimated. When we have over 5 grams over 12 meters from this is gold in rock sampling from Stego, which is on the western side, which is 3 to 4 kilometers away from the site where we're going to start drilling. I mean, we just can't ignore this. However, we do have to prioritize. And the worldview has given us some additional targets of which we can look at. Now, bear in mind on the western side, it was an old base metal mining district back in the turn of the last century. And what we think we might well have is a deeper geologic profile than the rocks that they have at Beatty. In Beatty, they have very high-level volcanics, and they have a gold within volcanics. We are deeper in the geological profile, which means to say that we're closer to maybe base metal type targets. Well, this is really exciting. For us now, that I'm really glad that we took the additional ground to secure the Owens area, which may be a porphyry copper. And these results just, underline the fact that not only do we have an epithermal gold camp, we may well have a base metal camp as well, but it's still early days. But for now, we're going to focus on the gold. Gold is golden at the moment, as you know, Gerardo. So we're focusing on where it adds value, but we're not actually ignoring the fact that we have many other targets. And as you quite rightly say, we have at least 8 to 9 other targets, not only the 3 that we're looking at on the eastern side. And the additional soil anomalies that we're finding, we had an idea, an inkling, Soda Ridge, Soda Canyon, Stega, that they were there. And all we've done has confirmed that these, in fact, are bona fide targets of their own. But as mentioned, we're going to concentrate on the east in the next round of drilling.
And I just want to highlight some historic drilling intercepts. You had 5.21 grams per ton gold over 6.1 meters from 76 meters depth before. You had 5.73 grams per ton gold over 4.57 meters. Again, relatively shallow from 45.72 meters depth. And then you had another intercept, I believe, of 8.67 grams per ton gold and 227 grams per ton silver over 6.64 meters from 78.64 meters depth. If you are able to duplicate or exceed those types of results in this market, again, the market cap being sub 25 million, Stephen, I think it's just a start.
Yes, I absolutely agree. And when you look at core mining, which have, if you like, a similar type of situation to us, and they're trading north of 150 million market cap, when we're trading in the sort of 15 to 25 million market cap, I would imagine that one could consider that we're undervalued compared to these guys.
Agreed. Steve, when do you anticipate getting a drill turning?
It probably will be either the end of this month or by mid next month. It really depends on the issue we have. Is Californian wildfires are going to be coming up. We still have the COVID, so securing a helicopter to be working in that area is going to be our main priority. We've already got our earmarked a drill rig that's standing by to get all of the wheels in motion, if you like. We need to have the green light. Once we got the green light, it'll probably take 3 weeks, and we're expecting that green light from the BLM literally weeks away now, if not this week.
Excellent. Steve, thanks for the time today. I look forward to having you back on as you announce the drilling targets. You get a bit more specific into it. I can't wait. Thanks again.
Thanks very much, Gerardo. It's been a pleasure.